but I decided to hop on my live because I know I'm about 3 hours late, that 50 Cent basically just posted on his Instagram and Twitter a couple of hours ago that he's voting for Trump, and the reasons why. Quick little screenshot he put of the tax rates that are going up in various states and what it would look like under Joe Biden, which is something like 60% in New York, 62% in California. I mean, these numbers are insane. You've never seen them. But I really quickly want to just say something to defend 50 Cent, because I am just seeing so much ignorance in his comments from majority of Black people saying they're done with him and it's because he's rich and he's betrayed them. No, it's because he's smart and you're not, okay? And I'm going to explain to you now what you don't understand about what he's saying, because tax cuts are not for the rich. And this is what happens. This lack of understanding is what happens when a school system gets washed of actual education. So instead of learning about taxes and about tax revenue and tax rates and how it works, you guys are learning about Black Lives Matter and white privilege and why you should be sad because you're Black and how it hurts and here's your safe space. None of you are learning anything. You have no idea what you're talking about. You are really, just give yourselves an old school no fives, okay? If you actually believe that Joe Biden is only going to raise taxes for people that are making more than $400,000, because what it shows is that you have to be extremely ignorant about economics, okay? Just extremely ignorant about economics. So first and foremost, there's a packet that I want you to read, an essay by Thomas Sowell called Trickle-Down Economics and Tax Cuts for the Rich. I have it somewhere behind me. I'm going to grab it in a second so you can go read it and understand what tax cuts for the rich actually means, because it's the only thing that actually helps poor people with their taxes. Poor people pay less taxes, okay, when rich people pay less taxes. Let me explain to you how that works, okay? So 50 Cent is saying, I'm not paying these taxes. Rich people all over different states that are hiking taxes right now are saying, I'm not paying taxes. Now, when they say that, they're not saying that bluffing. They're literally moving, picking up and leaving the state. So let's just walk through a common sense scenario for you. Let's say the state decides that it needs to collect a total of, let's make it an easy number, $100,000 in taxes in the state of California, okay? And let's say that state keeps raising and raising taxes on rich people, and rich people finally say, you know what? I'm leaving the state, right? So if you think that you're going to just tax rich people 90% and they're going to stay in the state, you're an idiot. Rich people are the ones who can afford to leave the state, okay? So let's say California right now, for example. The Daily Wire, they employ 75 people. Ben Shapiro, they pay massive amounts of tax in California. What happened? California taxes got too high and they just announced that they're leaving and moving to Nashville. That means they're not going to be the one paying that figurative that I just made up, $100,000 in tax revenues that the government needs to collect, right? Same for Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan had enough of California. He moved to Texas, where there is no income tax. Tennessee, Nashville, there is no income tax. So rich people have the option to pick up their entire families and companies and leave, okay? So they've reached the point of no return. Same for Charles Schwab, a billionaire, right? Lived in California forever, his whole life. All of that money you're actually collecting from a billionaire in your state. California got out of hand, so what did Charles Schwab do? He picked up Schwab Corporation and he moved it to Texas, where there is no income tax, right? That's the end of that story. Elon Musk saying he's picking up and leaving Tesla because of taxes and COVID-19 restrictions. That's the end of that story. So what happens when a government, okay, because you guys need to understand this, when a government taxes rich people so much that they all leave? Do you think the government then turns to the poor people and says, well, it looks like all the poor people are gone, so we're just going to have no more taxes, I guess? No, you fools. That's not what happens. What happens is the government then turns to the poor people and raises their taxes. I'm not making up this scenario. It's happened in America multiple times. You can read about it actually happening in times like the Great Depression, when they raised taxes to an unbelievable rate, right? Rich people will always hide their money. They can hide it legally, by the way. I'm not talking about fake ways to hide it. They can invest in municipalities. There are bonds that they can invest in, right? To build parks. They can hide their money for 5 years and get it for 5 years when the tax rate is more favorable. These are legal. These are sanctioned by the government. And of course they're going to do that. I would certainly, if I was living in a state that was taxing like crazy, looking to putting my money in some sort of a bond system, which would make sure that I didn't have to pay taxes on it for a while and could let it sit and mature, right? You guys don't understand that because you're so emotional that all you hear is tax cuts for the rich. Now, tax cuts for the rich, what happens under that scenario? Look it up. It's happened historically, okay? when the government lowers taxes for rich people and rich people go, oh wow, that's actually a very low, great tax rate, they're happy to pay the majority of the taxes. That's what happens. There's a reason. So you know what state is going to be thumbs up in a couple of years? It is thumbs up now. Texas, for all the rich people are moving. You're gonna see their economy boom, the neighborhoods boom, and they're gonna be happy to absorb and pay the majority of taxes. And you know what happens in that scenario? When rich people are given a tax cut, so are poor people. It's not an either or. It's both, because rich people are happy, again, to pay all of the taxes, the majority I'm talking about. And it has happened historically. Read this pamphlet that I am talking to you guys about, okay? It literally spells out to you what is going on, why it was good for poor people when Trump announced a tax cut, because then it de-incentivizes rich people to hide their money from the government if they're okay paying it. When I keep saying hide, again, I'm not talking about a criminal hiding. There are legal ways that you can hold your money so that you don't have to pay taxes. You can move to different states. They can move to different countries. Poor people can't do that. Poor people can't wake up one day and go, you know what, let's move to Nashville. This tax rate's too high. You know, let's just get up and go to Texas. This tax rate's too high. Poor people are stuck because the government has to collect its revenues. So what Joe Biden is proposing, if you just understood this entire video, is something that is going to hurt poor people because rich people are going to leave. So you just saw 50 Cent say, I've had enough with that, right? These are the people that I'm talking about. He's already paying for the majority of you people. You don't understand that they're already paying for the majority of you. Now you've pushed him past a point of no return. So he's voting with his brain. If you're upset because he's not emotional and he understands how this system works and he's not going to be an idiot and let Joe Biden say, you're already paying the majority of taxes, but you have to pay more. The problem isn't 50 Cent. It's you, because you're not learning anything in school, because you have to come onto Instagram because you think you hate Candace Owens because you don't understand economics and tax revenue and tax rates, okay? I don't really care how you feel about me. I really don't. I'm not here to be your friend. I've never been like, I really hope everybody wants to be my friend. I really don't. I want to be smart. I want to be smart and I want to be successful. So I study this stuff. So I read these books on economics so I can understand why it works this way. This is the reason they're dumbing down the school systems, because they love everybody to be emotional, especially minorities. Look, 50 Cent betrayed us. Look at him, he betrayed us because he's rich. No, he didn't betray you. The school system betrayed you. The school system failed you. The fact that you don't know this and you're coming to my Instagram to learn it, that is what's failed you. Be upset that they're talking about removing more academics and they keep we're going to teach race sensitivity. Tell them to teach you economics, okay? So that you understand this, so you don't let somebody slick talk you like Joe Biden into accepting higher tax rates, because that's going to happen in all of your states if he wins. That's what's going to happen across the entire country if he wins. The rich people are going to move, the rich people are going to hide their money, and poor people are going to be stuck paying it. The end.